All right. Hold on, just pulling this up. Okay. Hey, everybody. Just thought we'd do a quick run through of some of the stuff that we're looking at for this week. Would just be really quick. We'll just have a quick watch list here. Nothing crazy. Won't keep you all night, although if you want to, we can. Um, just run through a couple of charts here that we're looking at. Again, I'm not a master chartist. I use option premiums and volume profiles, and but we are going to run through some to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at for this week. All right. So we'll just go alphabetical order here, and then we'll move into the new additions into the NASDAQ 100, and we'll kind of go through all this stuff. So as you see here, we'll take this off here real quick. All right. Amazon. So in this tight range here, you could draw some trend lines if you wanted to. Go back down and draw some trend lines for everybody. Just local trend lines. We won't get crazy. There. I do love the automated trend line that Trendspider uses. Amazing charting and resource just in general. If you guys wanted to go out, you could go out even more. You could get it from out there. We're just doing the local area here. So Amazon failed. Option premiums on this this week they were iffy. We did play it. We played it small. We wanted to see if there was some follow through to the upside. There wasn't. If you were short, that was probably the way to go. But still, it's in this tight little range here. Not sure where it really wants to go. You could have a range from here to here if you wanted. You could come this way if you really wanted to and say that's a range. I know I'm using the trend line for it. I was just wanted to be a little more agile than everybody drawing straight lines all the time. You could say it's this right here, this channel that it's in just for locally here. Also volume shelf up on there. I love volume shelves. This is one of my favorite things about Trendspider is the volume shelves, especially when you get the daily and weeklies, you really get an idea of where people are and where they want to be. So Jake from Trendspider always talks about using it as a launch pad, and I totally agree with him on this. At some point, Amazon is going to break out. I can't tell you when. We don't know. But when it goes, it goes. I would look at somewhere around 32. I'd say the bottom of this volume, 32.15 is your first clue. If it can break this right here, we're calling about 32.50. That's a more sure signal if you are a more conservative player. Because if you're still in this box here, this wedge, you're kind of playing against, the lines. So it depends on your risk tolerance, and that's something we always preach at Alpha Traders is you have to know your risk tolerance. We played Tesla to the point last week where we were scalping 30-40% moves and we were happy with it. So, but then before that we had 200-300% on Tesla a couple of weeks ago. So it's a matter of where the market's at, where we're at, and what we're doing. But you have to know your risk tolerance. If 30% is good for you, you take it. If 60% is good for you, take it. If it's 200% you have to take it. So we do. I think overall we do a really good job of making sure that we take profit, but we're not also, hey, we got 5%, everybody get out. That's just not how we are. So everything's getting curled up in here. I'm an 821 day guy. I do like that. You know, the just overall profile of this is it's been really, really choppy. And if you caught this move, great. If you caught this move over a couple days, great. I would have probably preferred to be in the stock because premiums on this are so expensive all the time. Would really love to see them do a split, probably a 5-for-1, possibly a 6-for-1, but they probably won't ever. We'll see how that goes. But Amazon's a play. I think, there's a lot of chatter about this being they're selling this to buy Tesla, which makes sense because if you're an index or you're a fund and you don't have any exposure to Tesla, you have to be able to expose yourself to it now that's in the SPX. So Amazon, interesting. We'll see how it works moving forward. So Digital Turbine, we had talked about this in our call last week. Just get a little closer here, a little zoom in. We had talked about these two levels being pretty big, and it kind of just played in between. We talked about you could take this trade here at 43.59, play it to 45.72. It got to 45.10, so you'd have got a buck or two out of that. You've been better off playing the stock instead of playing options on this. But something to watch here. It did peek its head above, but as you can see, most of the volume was down below it. So we'll want to see volume above it. And also, volume overall was just not very good. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not sure that it moves, but it's in a great uptrend. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. May not be an options play for us. MasterCard, we were looking at the credit cards last week, and they failed miserably. There's this gap here that needs to be filled. You guys can see where my arrow was from last Sunday. What is this going to do? Well, it popped above and then sank underneath. And then obviously it fell out of the wedge from there. So now we can take these trend lines off. This gap is really all that matters. I love gaps, up or down, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't be surprised because MasterCard, Visa, credit card things, you buy your Christmas presents, your Hanukkah gifts, your, Rosh Hashanah, whatever you're buying, you buy them in December and then the credit card bill comes in the new year. So I wouldn't be surprised to actually see, especially with this volume shelf, it's just cutting right through it. I would not be surprised to see this fill this gap, possibly down to here. I don't think it gets here, but I could see this bottom gap get to 316 or so. And then all of a sudden, maybe even gets to 308, 300, somewhere in there. Possibly. I don't think so, but it may not have enough time to get there. But what we can tell you is that I love gaps. And if this gap fill happens, you want to play the gap down. You could also play the gap up. Problem with MasterCard, credit cards in general, they're slow movers. You might want to just play the stock. Options were great, especially here. We were holding MasterCard thinking we were getting news, and we actually popped it. I think we got 1,200% and 800%. It was just a great trade. ServiceNow, we played it this week, I believe on Wednesday. I want to say we played it. I think we played it pretty well. We actually bought it somewhere down here when it went down, and then it reclaimed this 525 level. We watched it for a little bit. We got in probably around, I'd say about 531, 532. Sold it at 540. Where did it get at 540 here? Which day was that? There it is. 540.69. We sold right into that strength. Didn't hang around. We weren't trying to get cute. So it's a little choppy right now. I would probably stay away from it unless it breaks. I would say 542, 544. If it breaks, this goes to more all-time highs, and that's good. My favorite stock, you guys keep hearing me say it over and over and over and over and over and over, is SE. They did an offering, a secondary. That's why the price slipped here. You guys can take my lines off here. So they're invalid now. That was from last week. We did play SE. We made about 80 to 100% this week. Earlier in the week. Got to 212. I think, yeah, we played it from 207 to 210, 211, and we got out of it once it showed a little bit of weakness. They offered the secondary here. I wouldn't be surprised if it saw, 180, 183 by the time it's done. I'd like to see maybe it hits a low and pops back up with the market this week, and we'll see from there. But SE always on my list. Every time there's a weakness, I add to the IRA because this could be $1,000 stock in 10 years. Snap, just what a move! Unbelievable Snap. I was watching Snap back when it was at 40. I want to say it was in here. It was towards the end of November. And it was just hanging around. It was showing some relative strength, but it was riding this 8-day, and it was just staying above its trend. And, I said, okay, well, when we get down, we'll take a look at it, see what the premiums are. And the market maker actually gave us a big, big boost. I want to say it was about 44. So it's probably right around this area. And we bought some December 18th 45 calls for $1 a piece. Absolutely, the market maker messed up on the pricing, and we hopped on it, and we sold right around 51 and a half. The goal was 52. 51 and a half is fine. Calls got to, Jesus, I think they were like 200%. If we would have kept riding it out, we probably would have got 300, but you can't be greedy. If anybody who says, hey, I rode it all the way out, well, good for you. That's fine. But 200% was more than enough for us for a leap. Snow. Super volatile. It could be, excuse me. It could be a Tesla type company in the sense that not of the actual company itself, but the way the stock moves and reacts. We'll see how it goes. There's been a lot of big buyers in this. I think I don't know if it was Charles Schwab, or there was somebody that bought 10% stake. Warren Buffett has, I think he has like a big stake, a 12% stake, something like that. Don't quote me on the numbers. I don't have them in front of me. But very, very interesting. 350 is the line here. You could maybe get down to this VWAP at 338. I love anchored VWAPs. Again, adding it to the volume profile. Volume profile for me is anchored VWAPs. You get volume shells. That's why I love Trendspider so much, because it's a visual, and I'm a visual person. And you get the daily volumes here. Depending on how the market goes, this might be the buy right here, 338-ish. I think if you break below it, you're not going to survive very long. You're better off going short, but it's moved so much. I mean, it had such a move up and such a move down. I mean, you're going to start seeing it, tighten up. I would play Snow here at the 335 area. If you could, we might play weekly options on this because the premiums are crazy. So many people are in this. The volume is so high. It's actually a really great option play if you're picking the right direction. But I think this is a really good area of interest right here that you could start scaling in some options. It depends on the day of the week and whatnot, of course. But this is the type of stock where you could buy the 330s for $8. I'm making this up, and the next day or maybe even the same day, Snow pulls in a 40-point day and it's up to 390, and your calls are 300%. So something to watch move forward. This will definitely be on the list every single week, just like the next banger, the epic Tesla. As you guys know, I was going to do a live stream tonight where I was going to go over all that stuff. I was having technical difficulties, so we're going to keep it here for right now. But a little hint is that, well, not a hint really, but it's something that that we kind of adhere to, is news is more important than anything as a catalyst. You guys see my this is my mantra on Tesla. There's no turning back. Don't be silly and short. If you can get cute and catch this, good for you. It's not a stock you want to short. But going back to this, we called Tesla about I would say 14 to 18 points, in some cases 20 before the masses. You guys saw I bought a big boy share of leaps that are doing pretty well. I have some December 18s I still have. Probably going to cash those in on Monday or Tuesday if there's a jump, just to be safe with it. I'd rather take my money and be happy than get greedy. But we made the call at 444. Now, some people might say, "Oh, well, you could have called it at 420 when they announced, and the whole nine." I think it was the 17th right here they announced, but it was after hours. How are you going to know? But if you remember, the next day the price kind of just was flat. There was a lot of flat action that people. It's almost like people didn't know what to do or they were late to the game. And for me, I was looking at a volume profile. Of course, you knew you're going to get aftermarket, buying here. You knew that was going to happen. But what set me apart, I think, from my way of thinking from everyone else is everyone's like, oh, we have to take a 465 break. You break 465 as this was this number right here. Zoom out a little bit here. It was this here. This highest high out of this. They said, okay, well, from October, if you break this, that's a go. Great trade, super, yeah, awesome. The problem was you lost 20 points. And even if you took it at 460 here, and I'm going to zoom in here for you guys. If you took it at 460 here, yeah, that's good, but still you missed out on 13 points. And I think where I struggled with I was reading a lot of people like, oh, I made this Tesla trade and all that. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the thing is, it was in front of us and we need to take that information and go. Once a major player, a top 10 company like Tesla, we may never have another opportunity to ever have a Tesla-like company. We may not. This may be the only time in our lives that a company like this grows so fast and has so much ingenuity and just as a company, and they're starting to get profitable and they're starting to move. That we have to understand where we're at and what we're doing. Market was beginning to trend, but if Tesla leads, which it did in August, which it did in the run up, if Tesla leads, the market is not going to go down. And we have to understand that the news, that catalyst of being put into the SPX is the biggest news, that it's bigger than the 5-for-1 split it did. And the 5-for-1 split made that thing crazy. And once you understood the news and the impact that it has, it wasn't just, oh, hey, it might falter and chill out. It is, you have to go. You don't have a choice. You have to go. And we'll talk about it with Peloton, which I think is going to run this week after being, included into the NASDAQ 100. You have to understand that when the news hits, that is your catalyst, but you have to be able to disseminate the news. You have to be able to take it quickly, filter it, and see if it's real. When news of a company being added to the SPX happens, look what happened to Etsy. Etsy just everybody, okay, well, Etsy's coming in. And it ran for us. But Etsy doesn't hold a candle to Tesla in terms of market impact. So not only did it have a lot of short interest on it, but it also, the news catalyst, everything culminated together to where it's an automatic buy. And I think a lot of people sometimes lose, they say, don't listen to the news. Don't listen to CNBC. It's dumb, or MSNBC, whatever it is, or Fox Business, whatever it is. Actually, there's one girl on there who's a good reporter. I don't know her name. She seems really cool, but it doesn't give you the information that you need. MSNBC has been telling you or CNBC has been telling you to short Tesla for like 4 or 5 years. And every time they're wrong. Every dude that comes on there is wrong, and it's dumb. I think Sam at Smarter Trader talks about it all the time, guy that I look up to and guy that I've learned a ton from. And you have to be able to take this news and understand what it is and what it's doing. So that was a big catalyst for me. I felt like not only is this something that's going to happen in the next month, but it's a great thing to hold for For me, it was 9 months. I firmly believe Tesla will be at 900, if not 1,000 by June. Probably comes down. Probably have a buy opportunity around here, maybe around 550, 520 at some point after it's included. That's the only time I would ever say short is when they're actually included and you sell the news. But I'm never going to short Tesla. I'm not an idiot. If it's a downtrend, or maybe it's Lotto Friday and it's 230 and it's showing obvious signs of weakness, I'll short it and take my 200% and go home. But for this week, it's kind of uncharted territory. There's not a lot of volume here. And that's something I've been a little disappointed with in terms of buying volume. I mean, it looks good on the outside, but if you actually look deeper into it, we'll go to the 10-minute chart here. Other than this right here, let me move that out. Sorry. Okay. It's been pretty lackluster in my opinion. Whenever you get a small spike here in volume on the 10-minute chart, and I love intradays. By the way, this Ripster thing, I didn't know who this guy was. Apparently, he's a really good dude, or I'm not sure, but I love his clouds. His SMA clouds are pretty cool. They're very aesthetic, as I tell people in the room. I love the calmness of the green, but this is pretty much telling you that it's still a sell, or at least it's not a buy yet, I should say. But for me, the volume profile here, I mean, it finished literally, there's this big shelf here on the 10-minute. So we're talking about intraday, very short term. There's this little shelf here that, it may take a day or two, but I think this thing gets back to 650. I really do. I think it gets back to 650 this week, maybe on Friday. I'm not exactly sure what day. I can't tell you. I'm not, maybe I am from the future, but I can't tell you what day. But Tesla's always online. This does bother me a little bit that the 8 days starting to curl a little bit. It does bother me a little bit that, these are starting to just kind of flatten out a little bit. We'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? Tesla could just bounce off this thing and just start running. That's how great it is. Visa, same boat as MasterCard. Absolute mega fail. We didn't play it. It was on the list to play it. Didn't hold. We said no thanks. Same thing. Has this big gap to fill. It started filling it way up here. I think this gap is good. I think 200. If you can get Visa at 200, it's a great thing to put in your IRA. I don't think it's an option play. You could maybe play some leaps, but I don't know how much you're going to get. I think 200 is a great place for IRAs, though. Win the best of the hotels to own in terms of just stock volatility and movement. Huge run from the vaccine news. Absolutely ginormous. Interesting this week. I think this is a sell. It's going to be kind of sell the Pfizer news. And then once Moderna gets approved this week, it's kind of sell the news. And I think there's going to be a big drawback on these stocks, the cruises, the hotels, the airlines. It's gonna be a big pullback, not to where I'm saying a month or 2 months of it goes all the way down to 87. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it gets back to maybe this level here, 103. It maybe gets back to 100, maybe 99 somewhere. Maybe it hangs out. But I do think we're gonna have a Santa rally if SPX is over. The number I have is 3280, maybe 3282 if you want to be like really precise. So we'll see. Fastly, it's like someone knows the news. Fastly's always been super up and down. This gap, though, this thing is being stubborn in this gap. It's got to break 101. Everybody in the whole world knows once this breaks 101 and holds, it's a rocket ship back up to 120. You will see the volume, like you'll see spikes like this. When you see the spike like this on the daily, you're gone. There's also a secondary gap. I had a little fun. I said you can't double fill a double gap. I was just being dumb. I think some people actually thought I was serious. I was just messing around. If you guys have ever seen Dumb and Dumber, He said you can't triple stamp a double stamp, can't triple stamp a double stamp. Well, I did that. I wouldn't be surprised if Fastly, like it's all there's rumors that they're going to get bought out and they're going to merge with someone else. If that's the case, this thing's going to rocket. It'll fill that gap easy, and everybody will be making a lot of money, be very, very happy. Shop. It's like Shop is one of those where you make a lot of money and then you lose a lot of money and you go, why did I play it the next time after that? Take my levels out here for you guys so you can see it a little more clearly. I put volume shelf interest on there last week. That volume shelf is still holding. Move this over here. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how that works out moving forward. But Shop is like one of those that super tough to really, I mean, you really got to nail these moves, and it's in such this little window here. If you can nail these 50-point moves, 100-point moves, you're really good. If not, you're kind of So I'm gonna stay away from Shop for now. Zoom. I think Zoom looks great. It has been holding this area. Some would call it a double bottom. I call it a higher low off the double bottom. So yeah, you could call it a double bottom, but I call it higher lows out of this range here. It took a little time up, just a little up, down. We're currently in the 485s for December 31st. I do think this looks really, really good. I would love to buy some more down here if it does get there. If it gets here, again, that's a buy. I'm happy and content where we're at currently. But I think down here, it's a buy and a push. It's just been suppressed. It's such a great stock. Makes so much money. It's just really good. SPY this week. SPY hedges. I'm not one to, in a bull market, to try to pick individual stocks that it's odd. This I don't like buying SPY. I will just hedge against it. I'm not a big fan of, again, not a huge fan of hedging with individual stocks because sometimes they just run on you. I'd rather just hedge the opposite of the trend in the index. But it's a very weird thing here with SPY. I mean, again, masking SPX. You have these series of lower lows. You have the 8-day now that's pretty much hanging on for dear life. It's below it now. So do we touch the 21-day? That's roughly 36.20. That is one of my big levels on SPY. We'll see. I think I'll be honest with you. There will be a sell this week, in my opinion. The VIX at 25, touching 25 and getting rejected, that's a lot. That is a big move. The VIX is very concerning for bulls right now. I do think we get another sell, but I also think that if it gets to 362, that's a buy, and you can buy it up to 364.40. 364.44, so that's somewhere in there. Could be a good day trade. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna do things a little slower. We're gonna take our trades this week. It's quad witching as well. See how everything goes. Big one on watch this week. Peloton added to the NASDAQ 100. Huge for Peloton. I love that it has a gap above. This gap is very, 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 very nice. I like 122. I think even with a little more volume, this thing can get all the way back up to 127, and then obviously up to 133 over time. Do I think it gets to 130 this week? No, but I will. I think we're going to buy the 120s, probably the 120s, um, depending on where the market is at on Monday. Love Peloton. Again, news tells you everything you need to know. This news is everything you need to know. And we'll go from there. AMD, spiky as usual. Like I've been telling the members for weeks, we have some AMD Leaps 97s for this week. We've had them for a couple weeks. If this, it's holding. Let's put it this way. It's 91.47 is the 8-day. It's holding this. 8 days curling a little bit. AMD really needs to go if it wants to get 100. There's been a ton of, when I say there's a ton of call flow for this Friday. We'll see if AMD goes. Nvidia on watch. It's on my do not trade list right now. Anytime a stock has great earnings, they don't give guidance, or they don't, the stock goes down, or it doesn't go up on great earnings, you just stay away from it. It's just by 3 to 4 weeks. If you want to be crazy, go 5. At some point, Nvidia is going to go, but not a point of focus for us right now. Marvel being added to the NASDAQ 100, also in play for us. It held, what is this? It held the 50-day. I think with this news, it should get a bounce. It's got to get through here. I would say through 43.50, 43.60. That's your play. Match Group added to it. Look at this parabolic move. I totally missed. I didn't even know about. I'll be honest with you, I don't play these guys ever, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But the chart is beautiful. Look at that trend. It holds that 8-day constantly. So the play on this is wait for a bounce off the 8-day and play it again. You literally can just play it day by day. Every time it gets close or bounces off the 8-day, you bounce, you go up. Okta, another one, NASDAQ 100 adds. This looks great. The spreads on this are awful, but if you can get in here off the 8-day again, catch it and go. That's a lot of what we do is just catch the 8-day if it's trending. Atlassian, I don't know how to say their name. Beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Be wary of the gap down, but it looks great. Tap that 8-day again. It's at the very top of the range. You want to see if it comes down to 225, taps the 8-day, or just kind of flags here, lets the 8-day catch up. You'll be pretty happy. So that's what we have. We'll be back tomorrow with some more stuff. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.